how's the vibe in LA these days?
Oh, it's heading for another lockdown, I think, pretty soon because of all the crazy and people just not taking care of themselves nor others. So, people just got to wear masks and be careful right now,
Yep.
and kind of over there, it's probably pretty good, right? New
Yeah,
Zealand,
we
Australia.
had a close call yesterday because we've been in pretty good shape, and but then we had one case that showed up here in Auckland, and we were waiting on pins and needles to see if they're going to lock us all down again. But we managed
Oh, wow.
to get out of it. But that's how the difference between here and U.S. I mean, we have one case, and it freaks everybody out, and things happen.
We have a million cases in California right now. So, I'm just sticking with a really small group of people right now that I know have been careful.
Right.
I trust them.
Good
and
on
getting
you.
tested every other week because I just shot a music video the other day, and I'm the one that doesn't wear the mask. Everyone else can, but I got to sing. So,
Right.
I'm a little like, okay, guys, you got to be careful here because you can wear the mask and all that, but I can't. It looks like, it's weird. So, the stress level of everything, I mean, around the world is crazy. And especially when you got to, I released an album during a pandemic, so it's not the best timing by any means, but I did this record a year ago and got put out now, and it was actually put out the week of election and COVID. So I'm going, okay.
Well, you must have been on to something. The first song is called Contagious. So
it was written a year ago.
It's crazy.
Wild, right? And that was actually going to be the first single, but I was like, you know what, guys, it's poor form. We can't put that out.
Right.
I mean, even though it's a positive song, it's basically saying, hate can break you, but the hate's contagious. But it's like staying in the light and stepping into the light and standing together as one and not being divided. So it is kind of a political song. Or when you listen to it, it's kind of about the pandemic. It's kind of about what's going on. But, we went with Sinner's Hymn, we went with Impulsive, and the next single, Sorry. So that's coming out pretty soon.
So is that the video that you shot for Sorry?
Yeah, we shot it last week. Yeah.
And give us a little preview of what we can expect.
Well, there's a few different clips I posted on my Instagram on I Am Orianthi. So you just go at I'm Orianthi. Look for the blue tick on there because that's my page. Everyone else is not me and they're crazy. Because a lot of people are like, I've been talking to you for a long time on Instagram. And I'm like, dude, I don't know you. I'm so sorry. And there's so many pages of people it's weird. But it's on there and there's clips and it honestly went for a Pulp Fiction meets Atomic Blonde retro vibe.
Of course.
So yeah, I didn't cut my hair. I'm wearing a wig. Everybody asked me. No, I like to wear wigs here and there. It's an entertainment value. It's a fun clip. Amazing director, Jim Lavau. He's done a lot of stuff with Linkin Park and so many other bands. I mean, he's an incredible photographer and director. So we had a lot of fun.
Right. Well, I'm glad to see that you're well because I saw your other clip for Impulsive, and I was worried that you're using a vintage telephone in the bathtub.
I feel so helpless in your hands. Turn on the red light, getting lost in your trance. Hold me, just hold me for the night.
That song was actually, it was funny. It was a really crazy time in my life. This whole time was crazy, but I was making a lot of changes and I was just in a mood that day and I was like, you know what, guys, let's just go completely impulsive with this video. And I walked out and I was getting ready and I walked out of my underwear. I'm going, we're shooting it now. And they're like, okay, she's officially lost her mind. And I'm like, yeah, I pretty much have. So entertainment value, that's what we're here for as artists, to serve people and have fun with it. What else can you do, right?
Exactly. So this is your first new music in about 7 years on your own. What brought you to this point to put this record out finally?
It just felt right. I made this record in 28 days in Nashville with Marty and it was a year ago and it took quite a bit of time to get it out because we had to find the right home for it. And I had a lot of changes going on in my life. We have to get the right people around you. And that's the whole thing, a right team and everything. So I was kind of redoing my team and getting all the right, people in place and all that. So a lot of people were like, oh, you're not releasing an album. You're just like bull crapping up. So I'm like, no, guys, the album does exist. It really does. So finally out. But yeah, I mean, it was definitely a journey to make it. And I'm proud of it because it's not overthought. That's why I called it O. It's kind of self-titled, but kind of not.
Right.
A lot of people just call me O. So that's why I just wanted to call it that and just put it out and for people to just have some entertainment during this time. And then I can't wait to tour it later. And I'm also writing a lot more material right now with other people for other people's albums, but also for my next record too. So.
Right. Well, you mentioned Marty, who you wrote. I'm assuming you wrote most of the record with him, and he kind of co-produced it as well. So what brought you to work with him, and how did that happen?
Marty's a great friend of mine. I've known him since I was 20 years old, and I'm 35 now, so about 15 years. And we just have a great friendship where we just talk about everything. And that's the cool thing because, I love the comfortability of working with someone who's your friend and
Right.
very talented producer and songwriter, come in there with an idea. And I can work with producers and stuff, but if they don't songwrite and I get stuck for an idea, then it takes a little longer, because I got to go home and think about it and then come back. And then with Marty, we bounce off ideas off each other and it just works, and it was a great vibe. So, good times. And I hope people have a good time listening to it,
I don't see how they couldn't. So when you're actually writing with him, like who's doing what, and do you is it a real collaboration kind of thing?
Yeah, completely. I mean, it's a real collaboration. It's definitely where I'll come in with an idea, or Marty would be like, "Hey, think about this," and it's just back and forth. And whether I come in with a verse and no chorus, or I come in with a riff and then we vibe off that, or I come with lyrics, everything. The joy about songwriting is that it's always very different, whether it be, poems I've written in my diary, whether it be, whatever. I mean, it's always a different process. And everyone's asking me, how do you write a song? I don't know. I don't know. It just happens. It's a feeling you get. It's something you got to get out, whether it be you sit with your guitar for a minute, or you sit with the piano for a minute, or, beats, or you just sing into your iPhone. Everything's so different for me. And I think that's the cool thing about it, that there's no set formula really for it.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, initially people know you for your guitar playing. So was there a point where you kind of decided you were also a songwriter?
You know what? There was a point where I decided I wanted to be a guitar player. I was actually a singer-songwriter before I was a guitar player.
Okay.
Which a lot of people don't know that, but I actually started writing songs when I was 6 years old and singing and strumming guitar and playing piano. But I wasn't like a, guitar player. I was just like accompanying myself,
Right.
And then I got into really wanting to play leads around about 10 or 11, when I heard like Santana, B.B. King, all that kind of stuff. So that's when I really kind of got into that, world. And then studied classical when I was 10. I went to TAFE University, and
right.
I was probably one of the youngest there, but I learned theory, sight reading, all that kind of stuff. And then I traveled around when I was like 10 in an orchestra pit playing with Oklahoma around Australia, and doing so many different things. I mean, I quit school when I was 15, signed my first management contract when I was 14, traveled around Australia opening for ZZ Top, to Steve Vai, to LA 500, to different, radio things and just events in general, and then made records and got myself a record deal when I was 20 with Jimmy Iovine from Interscope Records in the US. So I worked really hard and just continued to work, on bettering myself and all that kind of stuff. But,
and of course, you've worked with some interesting people over the years as well. So how do those experiences kind of form who you become now at age 35 with this record?
You know what? Yeah, I mean, I've learned so much from working with all of these incredible people, legends, really, and I feel very honored that I've got to meet them, let alone work with them. So I take nothing for granted, and you just have to, I'm being an artist, you sign up to be at service to people because music helped me, it saved my life. So if I can inspire more people, if I can help people through with my music and putting my thoughts and feelings into a song that people can connect with and continue to get better at doing that. And life's a journey, and you just take the people that like your music, take them along with you on that journey. And I never want it to be boring for anybody, including myself. So I'm always going to be, you know, coming up with different things all the time. But yeah, this record is definitely like a snapshot of my life.
Well,
at that time.
probably the sharpest snapshot may be a song called "Crawling Out of the Dark."
Now I'm crawling out of the dark. Didn't know I felt so far. Tell me, did you have fun breaking my heart? Everybody dies sometimes. Now I'm coming back to life. I'm crawling out of the dark. Now I'm crawling out of the dark.
Is it a hard song like that for you to write?
Of course. I mean, that song was actually written about a few relationships I've been in, and a few relationships that the co-writer had been in. Predominantly, one of them was a very toxic relationship, and she came to with this idea, and then we kind of just went for it, and we sort of drew from different stories, you know. But it's definitely very personal because I relate some of the lyrics, and then definitely her story and some of my friends as well. We put them all together, compiled it, and hopefully it helps people get out of whether it be toxic relationships, toxic friendships, whatever it is, bad places. We all got to crawl out of the dark sometimes because we get trapped with toxic situations or just things that don't serve us. And to know your worth and to know that we're all put on this planet to live our light. You know, we really are. And once you find your light, then you give other people permission to shine their light too. And I always find that like it takes great strength to pull yourself out of a bad situation. You know what I mean? It really does. And kind of go, okay, yeah, that happened to me, but it doesn't define me. Right. You know, and you learn from it and you just go, okay, next time I'm not going to make that mistake again. So this record was, as I said, for the past couple of years, you know, different relationships I've been in, the fact that I was emotionally unavailable for a while, you know, companies attract that kind of sums that up where, you know, I was dating a few people, you know, and it was just like, you know, it wasn't really like I was committed to anything. I didn't want to have anyone particularly in my life at the time. I just wanted to just have, you know, I was more focused on doing other things. And so, yeah, it's just writing about it. It's about writing about like, you know, just your feelings in general and as a human being. So yeah, the next record was going to be different. I've already started that one too, but I'm so proud of this one. Yeah, too.
So is it difficult? I mean, you seem to be the kind of person that attracts headlines, that people are very interested in who you're dating and who you're with and who you're working with, and it's all very public. So for yourself being an artist, is that easier or harder to actually deal with that stuff?
I've actually stopped posting who I'm dating and all that kind of stuff anymore because I feel like as soon as I do that, it just opens this whole thing for discussion. Like it's like a reality show, you know, what's going to happen here? And so now people don't know who I'm dating, and I prefer it that way because, you know, it just becomes a crap fest, to be honest with you. And I prefer to have other things public, like what I'm cooking, my cat's situation, or
what is your cat situation right now?
She needs a haircut really badly, but she's a Persian. Yeah, I mean, it's just different things like that. You know, I'd rather share stuff like that opposed to other personal things because, you know, you got to keep some stuff for yourself. You really do. You know, we all do. Yeah.
Now, the final song on the album is called Moonwalker, which I can't help but think it has something to do with Michael Jackson because he did the moonwalk, and you worked with him near the end of his career there.
You disappeared somewhere in the atmosphere where the air is clear. Are you lonely out there, living without a care, up above the stratosphere?
Well, I can tell you it completely does not. And I have to clear this up completely. I'm going to put it everywhere across my socials. Moonwalker has nothing to do with Michael. It's actually to do with myself and other people as well, not dealing with reality sometimes and running away from it. Right. And it's about basically coming down and just when you're going to come down and when you're going to face the problems, and whether that be whether that be like drinking, whether that be running away, whether that be distracting yourself, whether that be dating a bunch of people because you just need to get away from yourself, you know, and all these different distractions and all the stuff that, you know, we do as human beings to sort of, you know, cope, I guess, and get through times. So that song is about coming down and facing reality and then moving on, because I feel that once you face your issues, whether it be personal, whether it be external, whether it be whatever it is, then you can sort it out and move on. But if you keep on letting things build up, you're going to float away and not deal with it and always be walking on a different planet, you know what I mean? Not planet Earth. So
right.
That song's about that ultimately. Yeah.
Cool. Now about your guitar playing, I'm sure you take it seriously. How hard do you work on it now at this point? Do you practice every day? Do you listen to other guitar players? Are you kind of in evolving?
Yeah, the other day I was listening to a Hendrix and Buddy Miles live on vinyl, and that really inspired me. So I love to listen to just vinyl records and go, oh my God, I want to play guitar now. Like, and it's funny because I'll leave the guitar alone for weeks on end sometimes and be playing piano, we're playing drums or something else. Because sometimes, you know, you don't feel like you've reached like the end of it, but you feel like you reach kind of a certain point where you just need a break from it, you know, to love it again. It's like with anything. If you spend too much time with something, you need to step away from it to appreciate it or come back with a new sort of take on it. Otherwise, you can play the same old damn thing and bore yourself to death. So, you know, that's how I feel about it sometimes, you know.
And are there any other contemporary guitar players that you're kind of keep an eye on and pay attention to?
Well, actually, one of my favorite new artists have come out right now, and he's an incredible guitar player. Is called Marcus King, and he is so freaking good. And I would tell everybody to go check him out. He's super young. He's cool. I don't know which part of America he's from, but he just sings so great. He plays so great. He's an old soul, you know, and it makes me happy because, you know, I listen to top 40, but not as much. I try not to as much these days because it sounds all the same. You know, to a certain point, you know what I mean? There's some artists which I really like and really dig, but, you know, when you come across an artist that you just feel has that authenticity where he really, it's just, you know, they mean it. They can play a chord and they mean it, you know? Yeah. That's where it's at. And so I suggest everybody check out Marcus King. He's dope.
Will do. Now, one other song I wanted to touch on was Streams of Consciousness.
Yes.
Reflections of a dead man dancing with a glass eye. Beautiful like vampires, Chinese dressed in white ties. Falling on the manhole with a cheap bag of sugar. The devil's in the back room making deals with the butcher.
That song was actually written with Nikki Sixx from Motley Crue.
Really?
So, yeah. And he, I actually was supposed to go on the Motley Crue tour, and I left just before that tour. That would have been a huge tour to be on, because Alice Cooper introduced me to Richie Sambora in Hawaii, and we decided to make a record together, with RSO.
Yep.
And so we went on that venture for about 4 and a bit years. And then I was really proud of that album. And then after that, Richie and I decided to take a break, and he was doing, you know, just do solo endeavors and whatnot. And then, you know, I met up with, Alice invited me down to the Hollywood Bowl. He's like, come and jam with us. And I was like, okay, awesome. So I went down there with my friend, got up and played Schools Out, and Nikki Sixx was there. It was fun. Yeah, it was a fun night. And then Nikki Sixx was there with his wife, and we ended up just hanging out and exchanging numbers, and Courtney and his wife texting. And then when it came to making the record, we're texting. She goes, what are you up to? I'm like, I'm making an album. I said, oh, if Nikki's down to write, that'd be awesome. Just put it out there, but I didn't expect anything, you know. Because actually, initially, it was going to be a collaborational record. I was going to get all these different people on it. And then I was like, at the end, maybe not. Maybe I just need to do a record by myself and just have a few co-writers here and there. So he sent through these really killer lyrics, painting a dark picture of LA. Yep. And then we just put the music together and put it all together with the melodies and everything within an hour or two once he sent them through. And he's really talented and such a cool guy. So really, you know, thrilled that he sent them through and really happy with that song. But anyway, so I would love to collaborate with, I actually started collaborating with Gary Clark Jr. the other day.
Oh, he's a guy.
He's amazing. Yeah. And it was myself, Gary Clark, and Dave Stewart. We wrote a song over Zoom. And
Nice.
then I was talking to her about collaborating and maybe in the future. And then I would love to work with someone, you know, it's funny. I would love to do a song with like Alicia Keys or someone like that. That would be
Right.
really cool.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, just piano, vocals, guitar, and, you know, a really cool like ballad or something would be awesome. Or someone like Post Malone too. I'm a fan of what he does because I think he's a really talented, like, he's just talented artist. He really is. He's really different, you know.
Sure.
I dig it.
Yep.
Or The Weeknd, actually. The Weeknd
Yep.
would be really cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds like you got some good ideas there. We'll have to see what you come up with
Just
next.
putting it out there, you know, and yeah, exactly.
And are you itching to get on the road or play some gigs?
Oh, hell yeah. At this point, I'd play someone's backyard birthday party.
Well, you're welcome to come up here. I've got plenty of space. We have bands here all
I
the
was
time.
going to say, I really dig your ceiling. It's pretty rad.
Oh yeah, it's a stained glass thing. I don't know. Look at that.
That's cool. I dig that.
It's
Really nice.
just a feature.
Awesome. I love it.
Well,
Dig it.
well, thank you very much for talking to me. It's been a thrill, and I love the record is great, and hopefully it does everything it needs to do for you. So, and maybe sometime you can come to Auckland and play for us.
I will be down there. Thank you so much. You take care. Thank
My
you so
pleasure.
much.
Bye bye.
See you later. Bye bye.